My name is Joanne Rutenberg, and I'm the National Placements and Partnership Manager at ABC Education Group. I've worked in international education since 2009 through both J1 and F1 programs. In my role, I work closely with all parts, all people involved in the placement process, agents, schools, host families, and students, to support placements and address the needs that arise. Alongside my professional role, I also bring host family and parent perspective to this work. Having hosted more than 15 international students and chaperones and having children who stayed with host families abroad. Those experiences shape how I approach student care, family expectations, and making thoughtful placement decisions. What is Holiday Homestay? Holiday Homestay is a short-term, fully supported homestay solution designed to provide safe, reliable housing for students when they need it most. Boarding schools provide excellent care during the academic year, but breaks bring uncertainty. What happens during breaks? Holiday Homestay removes that question entirely. It covers breaks, transitions, and unexpected housing needs. How does this benefit agents? Agents don't need to scramble for temporary solutions. You have clear answers for parents during recruitment conversations and a stronger value proposition when selling boarding options. Holiday Homestay solutions. Picture this: the school shuts down, dorms close, flights are expensive, and an international student has nowhere to go. Families are calling, schools are scrambling. This is exactly the gap our Holiday Homestay program was built to solve. Today, we'll look at the housing challenges schools face during school breaks. I'll walk you through how the program works, what ABC delivers, and how we support you before, during, and after the placement, so you're never managing these situations alone. You'll also learn that not every student needs Holiday Homestay, and that's intentional. For day school students, housing breaks are often covered through a welcome family, long-term host family, or a backup host family, with a portion of the monthly stipend paid. Holiday Homestay is designed specifically for situations where those options aren't available, most commonly for boarding schools, students when campus closed during major breaks. Let's start with the housing challenges. One of the most consistent challenges we see is ensuring students have safe, reliable housing during school breaks. What happens during school breaks when students can't travel home, schools close, dorms shut, and even well-made plans don't work out as expected? Just a few weeks ago, we received a call at 9 in the morning. It was a Thursday. I was just about to do a presentation. I was doing my final prep for a presentation, and we got a call from an agent whose boarding students had been suspended and needed to leave the campus by noon that day. It was quite a panic. Depending on where families and agents are located, these calls can come at any hour of the day, and they're often highly emotional for everyone involved. Although we secured holiday homestay options for both students, one student initially chose to travel back to his home in Spain with a parent that was visiting. As luck would have it, over the weekend, the student lost his passport, making international travel impossible. Once the agent reached out again, we were able to activate Holiday Homestay and quickly secure housing, despite the student's school being located in Maine and the travel complications arriving where he was in New York. This situation highlights exactly why Holiday Homestay exists: to provide fast, reliable, structured support during unexpected transitions so agents, families, and schools aren't left scrambling when plans change. So I wanted to take a fancy poll online, but we are going to try to do this in the chat box. I'm curious how people see the need for holiday homestay. Um, what school break tends to create the biggest housing challenge for students? Is it winter? Is it spring? Is it summer? Some unexpected emergency situation, or all of the above? If you could just take a minute and put your answer in the chat, I'll
Well,
have.
Joanne, I
Oh,
added a
yeah.
poll. There's a QR,
Oh,
so
you
you
did do that.
guys
Oh,
can,
oh,
yeah, yeah.
oh, you did. Awesome. Thank you. I
Yeah,
was like, oh my gosh, where's my bullets?
yeah, there's
So,
a QR
okay.
code, and then you can see some links. If so, Joanne, if you can, there's a link where you
Okay.
can see all of the answers.
Ah, okay. That's really checking my technical savviness here. Okay, which queue? Okay, so I have the poll, but I don't know if I see the answers. Maybe we can loop around to that because I just thought we would talk about that back at Q&A anyway. Does that work out?
Yeah, that works
Yes.
out.
Okay. Okay.
Let's do
All
that.
right.
Let's do that, and we can, because I can see the answers coming in now as well. So we can do.
Oh,
We
you
can.
can.
Yeah, we can touch the answers afterwards if you like. That could
Okay,
work.
it's probably the way that I have my display set up that I can't see them. Sorry about that. Unless
okay.
somebody else wants to chime in and give the answers, that's fine. Daniela, do you want to help
Well,
me out here?
we have one for winter break. We have one for all of the above. We have one for summer break, and we have one for emergency situation. So we have one for each, aside from spring
Okay.
break. Spring break is covered, I suppose, with the trips, the boarding school
Okay.
offered trips. Everything else is receiving a vote.
Okay. I guess you know, all of the above or multiple, that makes sense because housing challenges, don't follow the calendar. As far as winter break goes, I think we hear a lot about that one, especially with travel and weather. And you said there was somebody for spring?
There's
Well, we
no one
have,
for spring currently, but there is someone for summer, and there's one for
oh,
emergency situations as well.
oh, okay. That's interesting because we just had a whole lot of people that needed spring homestay. So that was like Easter break, but it was planned. It wasn't really an emergency. Um, and for the emergency, well, like emergencies, those are rarely planned, but we need to have something in place for those. So, all right. Well, thanks for taking a minute to answer that. I thought it would be interesting to know when you think that you need this the most. So, how does holiday homestay work? When a housing need comes up, whether it's planned or unexpected, the process begins with the agent outreach. So we can walk through the situation together. We immediately review the timing, the location, student needs, and any school or travel considerations. The student then completes a short inquiry form, sharing key details such as age, grade, nationality, and any food or pet allergies. This gives the team the information needed to move forward efficiently. With that information, our placement team works together to identify and secure a short-term homestay. The goal is to keep the process clear, supportive, and well-managed from the start to finish. What we deliver. This slide really summarizes how Holiday Homestay is designed to function in practice. The program provides a ready backup for short-term needs, whether that's a planned school break or an unexpected situation like flight cancellation or travel restrictions. ABC handles each placement individually, working with the agent to set clear expectations up front, how long the stay will be, what support is in place, and how to ensure the student is safe and supported the whole time. All placements are placed with carefully vetted host families, and ABC remains involved throughout school breaks, whether housing is planned in advance or needed last minute. Why does this matter? Parents want assurance that their child is cared for all year round, not just during school terms. How does this benefit agents? Fewer emergency calls, confidence knowing there's a vetted, supported option, And schools appreciate agents who bring solutions which align with school duty of care expectations, enhance long-term collaboration. How does this benefit students? Holiday Homestay provides a more caring, personal option than temporary lodging. 3 meals, shared or private room, a sense of belonging during times of transitions. We're also able to provide emergency placement and have 24/7 emergency support through our dedicated 800 number. How we support agents. Our approach is grounded in clear communication, responsiveness, and ongoing oversight. Students enrolled in Holiday Homestay remain safely housed, no emergency relocation needed. ABC remains involved throughout the placement, providing a clear escalation path and prioritizing proactive plans so agents are never navigating changes alone. Peace of mind. Holiday Homestay offers safe, reliable housing during scheduled school breaks, as well as urgent unplanned situations, allowing housing needs to be anticipated when possible and quickly resolved when the unexpected happens. Proactive planning equals peace of mind. When there's a clear plan and consistent support, it allows students to feel secure, parents to feel reassured, and agents and schools to step away during breaks knowing everything is being managed thoughtfully. This is not independent homestay. Students stay with vetted host families who understand the structure and responsibilities of hosting during breaks. At its core, Holiday Homestay is about continuity, stability, and partnership. So you're probably curious about price. At a high level, Holiday Homestay uses a short-term break-specific pricing model. It's structured differently from long-term host stipends and it's designed to be clear and predictable for agents and schools. If a student's stay needs to be extended, and we've had this, those changes need to be coordinated through ABC and the agent rather than directly with the host families. So in a situation that we had recently, the student's transportation fell through and they couldn't leave the homestay. The student had talked to the host family talked to the student, they came to us, but the proper procedure in that situation would be for the student to contact either ourselves or the agent, and then we work together to arrange that with the host family. That way, it doesn't put the host family in any kind of awkward position. Because placements vary by timing, location, and student needs, specific details are discussed offline case by case. And we are looking for a 2-day minimum on the Holiday Homestay program. However, there are exceptions. Currently, we have 9 students at a homestay, all from one boarding school, and 6 of them are staying for 8 days. And then we have, one student staying 1 day and another staying 2 days. And the reason that works, it doesn't work completely in a sense that the student that's just there for a day has to get their transportation to the home, and then that family will bring them back. So I guess the takeaway here is that the preference is for a 2-day stay, just with all the logistics involved, but we are flexible because there's going to be emergencies and things that we don't count on. So the 1 day is possible. And that is about all I have right now for Holiday Homestay. So I will, I'll pause here for questions.
Hello,
Do-
this is Eduardo from School and Go in Spain. Hi, John.
Hi,
Thank
Eduardo.
you very much. And just a short question. It's about the transports. Well, most
Sure.
of the families, I think they used to be around maybe close to the school, maybe the boarding school. And how is it organized? By the family, by you, or by us? How do you organize the transport of the transfer from school to the family?
Sure.
Thanks.
So sure, that's a great question. So it might be different in every case, but we try to have the host family arrange, pick up the student just like we do in the regular homestay program. However, if the boarding school is an hour away, it might not make sense to the person to actually host and to travel, 2 hours up and back and then to drop them off 2 hours. So it's kind of case by case. We go in it thinking if it's within, a 30-minute drive, the host family is going to be okay with picking up a student, because they do that. But yeah, so we're thinking if it's like over 30 minutes, there might have to be an additional cost for transportation. But right now, the cases that we've had, we've been able to manage transportation. So I think it's just a conversation. Obviously, in the case that I mentioned, where we had a student was going to school in Maine, and then he decided he didn't want the homestay, and then he decided to travel back to Spain, got stuck in New York at the airport, lost his passport. Obviously we don't have somebody that's going to come and get him. He took like an Uber. He also had to go to to get his visa and everything again. So I think the intention is that we're going to provide the transportation unless it just doesn't make sense. That's a great question. Thank you. Anybody
am
else?
Yeah, hi, I'm Carlo from Go Beyond. How long before the respite homestay you need to know from us the need to have a holiday homestay? How long before?
Well, I mean, we just that one situation we managed it that same day. I guess it could be a problem if we have 50 people calling the same day. But right now, the thought is that we can handle unexpected transitions and stays. So we want to be available for that. Yeah, I mean, preferred to plan in advance, right? We know the winter breaks, the summer breaks, things like that in advance, but we also want to be there and be available for emergencies. It's not guaranteed that we're going to have somebody in that area, but we will try. So in that particular, going back to my example, that student was stuck in New York, and we found somebody in Connecticut, which was not that far away, but he got his way to Connecticut, and then he had to get his way back to Maine. So probably cost him a whole lot more than just kind of going initially, but yeah. Those are good questions. Anybody else have any questions? I have questions. I have some questions prepared in case anybody didn't prepare questions. So I'll give you a couple of my top questions. Are host families paid? What's their motivation? Actually, I'm really excited about this program because a lot of my like longtime host families are just like done hosting, right? They're just like they can't do it anymore. They need a break. But with short-term homestay, they can host again, right? So I have these great families that they want to host, but they just don't want to commit to the day students. So all of a sudden they're available to host again instead of just being like completely retired. But to answer the question, they do receive compensation, obviously. Most of the families enjoy hosting, and I think specifically for those families that are have hosted but can't host anymore, that they truly enjoy it. Did that prompt any questions from the crowd? Okay, let's see.
Joanne,
Yes.
I just have some add-ons that I want to talk
Absolutely.
about.
Sure.
So hi everyone, my name is Sherry. I also help manage the short-term program. I'm based in New York.
So since we have started the program, we have never had a single complaint about our short-term homestay. We also had some student testimonies. If you want to ask your ABC representative, they can give it to you. I was a international boarding school student like a long time ago, and back then we didn't have ABC. And then we know at boarding schools, it's not just summer break, spring break, winter. There's also like Thanksgiving, long weekend, and then other, breaks that all those boarding schools have. And then most of the schools are closed completely, so the students have to leave. So back then I had to have my parents like arrange some friends, their friends for me to stay, their home for me to stay at. But now, but not all the students have that resources. And if you have a student at currently at a boarding school in the States, I'm pretty sure you will have a student that facing this problem. So I think you will definitely need this program. And then you have a trusted partner, which is us. And then all of our host families are verified through us. They have, host experiences. So I think it will be really good program for you to like keep in mind. And then just want to mention about the price a little bit. I know Joanne, it's still case by case that you can discuss with your ABC representative, but in general, we charge about $150 for a night. And then that includes the private room, and then it includes it includes accommodation, includes 3 meals, and it includes transportation if it's like not too far from the school. But we always try to find homestays that are close to the schools. So as of now, in most of the cases, we were able to provide transportation, but if not, the students can find transportations themselves. We can also try to help, like suggest like car services and all that. So if you receive a request from a student, basically you just refer them to ABC, and then we can take care of and everything else for you. Um, Maybe occasionally the transportations, but we can also provide, those transportation suggestions for students. So I think it will be a great program for you to keep in mind, just in case you have like requests like that in the future. So just
Thanks, Sherry.
yeah.
And just to add to that, it's shared or private rooms, just kind of like the homestay program. So, some situations that we have would be a shared room, but you would know that in advance. We also, on the student inquiry form, we're going to ask, what kind of placement the student's looking for, right? So you could have anyone 14 to 18 years old. A 14-year-old is going to need a little bit more supervision than an 18-year-old, right? So the 18-year-old might say, I want homestay, but I don't want to be with them all weekend long. I want my flexibility. So that's one of the questions on the inquiry form. Do you want to be like fully engaged with the host family? A mix of not engaged and engaged. So it also helps us, to find the right placement for that student. Does anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, one more question from me.
Perfect.
Which are the areas where you have most holiday homestays?
I mean, we have host families all across the country. So I think, I'm targeting all over the country to recruit additional host families, but especially around where we have the boarding schools, and where other boarding schools are located, because we're also offering this to people that aren't our partners too, right? So it's everybody in these, but as our partners, you get preferred treatment. But if there's somebody else that needs the homestay, they can also come. But right now, where we the kids that I just placed for Easter break, we have a great, it's kind of like a boarding house, but it's not. The family lives there and they have 15 rooms, and their business is to function to take care of kids, students. They also have another house that they provide families that are visiting with accommodations. So that really does fit a need, right? So many times students, parents are going to come visit and you're like, please don't stay with the host family. There's only going to be problems. So there are, places like that. So in interviewing host families, we come across all these unique situations, and those kids in Connecticut right now, they're having a great time. And yeah, everybody seems so happy because, again, the host families are going through like a careful vetting process, right? We're doing background checks. They're completing an app where we're doing a virtual home visit. We get to know them through a phone screen. So, and we're not going to put anybody in a house just to put them in a house, So you might come to us and maybe we don't have the solution that it's an emergency situation like right in your neighborhood, but we can say, hey, do they want to go to Connecticut? Or hey, will they go up to Boston? And in that like situation, I was like, oh geez, if I was home, I probably would have taken the kid. It's just a couple of days and it's a kid that needs help. So I do really feel that this is exciting because having worked with host families for so long and knowing, the challenges they face, it's so much easier to offer short-term homestay, right? And so it's kind of brings all those people back into my life that can do the short term, and it's exciting, right? You're just getting to know a kid for a couple of days. I know that we're kind of running out of time, but I have one more. Well, I have a couple more questions, but I'll just put this one out there because you're probably all thinking about it. So what happens if something goes wrong during the break, right? So now you've secured the homestay, and now the student calls. Maybe they're homesick, maybe there's some concern in the house, or maybe they're not feeding them. Again, we're gonna stay in touch on the breaks. We check in with the host parent to make sure things are going okay. We make sure that they arrive, and we do have the 800 number for emergencies. So you're not left in the dark. And I really do think that helps when you have the kids in boarding schools, that you can give the families that solution up front if they say, okay, this is great, but what about emergencies? What about breaks? That you actually have, something to share with them. So, well, if there's no more questions, I'm just going to ask you to, oh, hi, Louisa.
Joanne, sorry.
Yes,
Hi, how
yes,
are
no
you?
problem. Hi.
I just have one last question. I'm not sure if you mentioned it before. For this holiday homestays, this emergency, the cost, it includes like the full board, right? Like the 3 meals.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
All
So
right.
right now it's it's pretty reasonable, right? It's less than a hotel room, and it's coming with meals, and so get it while it's at that price, I really kind of feel excited about it because I think probably like all of you, it's a real true life situation, right? I mean, how likely is it that kid that's going back to Spain and he loses his passport in New York? I mean, it just was a perfect example. And you have, you know, natural parents on the other side of the world. And I have sent my kids abroad, and I know how scary it was just when I knew that they were commuting on a train every day. Never mind, like in a city, they were supposed to get on a plane and they missed it and they have nowhere to go. And in most cases, they're too young to rent a place for themselves, right? So it's we're looking forward to handling all your situations, the proactive ones, as well as, what we can do in those emergency situations.
Great. Thank you.
Anybody? Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, thanks for the questions. Those are all really good questions, and we're excited about this. I guess I think I'm kind of not as tech savvy as I probably should, because now that I shrunk my screen, I can't get my next slide up, which is just basically a thank you and our email contacts. But we'll be sending the presentation along, and you'll have our contact information. So start thinking about the next break and how we can help you, and we look forward to being part of that solution for you. Thanks so much for coming today. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Joanne.
Nice to meet you.
Everyone,
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming.